In fact, many people think about this problem. Over at my university at MIT, there was actually a group that was founded, and they started a group called, believe it or not, called FAIL. So I'm going to read a quick excerpt from a news article on the website. Many members of the science and technology community were inspired by the startup mantra, fail fast and fail often. When it comes to the lived experience of navigating setbacks, however, many end up failing at failing. They internalize the experience and treat failure as a reflection of their abilities rather than an unavoidable part of life, necessary for personal growth. This very human tendency was the inspiration for FAIL, an event series committed to destigmatizing failure. To date, there have been 3 FAIL conferences held at MIT, drawing sold-out crowds of 350 to 400 people. At each conference, prominent scholars from MIT and Harvard University shared 10-minute stories of personal, academic, and professional failures, followed by a Q&A session with the audience. By learning of the challenges and missteps of highly successful people, the organizers hope to reduce the discouragement and isolation attendees feel when confronted with their own failures. And I just thought that was fantastic, especially we all can relate to those feelings that everyone was sharing before, and we all can relate to having to manage those feelings and having to reframe the experience and move on and perhaps learn from it if we can. So one of the organizers, or I'm sorry, one of the speakers at this conference was saying, if you're not failing all the time, you're aiming too low. Yes, I can share the article after, please remind me. So, and MIT, of course, is famous for being an institution for scientists and engineers. So perhaps you might say, well, is this just true for scientists and engineers? And I would argue, no, it's actually a useful lesson for all of us, not just engineers, in a number of contexts, especially those in which you develop and design and change over time. And that is certainly true for any design career, and that includes all of us here today. So what does failure, including the attitudes and thoughts and beliefs about failure, have to do with the design thinking process? And why are we talking about it here today at the beginning of my session? So to do so, let's revisit where we've been. So we've been empathizing with our target population, who they are, what they think, what they feel, the challenges they face. And we use that to sharpen our problem statements, to really kind of focus in. Yesterday, we began to explore ideation and how we might develop new and innovative approaches and proposed solutions. And today, we'll talk about the next phase, experimentation, and yes, failure in a healthy and I hope productive way. And this will be the work we do this week, beginning that experimentation phase. So to do this work, it's important to realize that the design process isn't just about your designs, but it's linked inextricably with the approach and mindset of you and your team of designers. So we're all here, we're all working on sharpening our own design skills so we can create successful designs. So let's jump in. So the experimentation phase of design thinking consists of 2 closely interconnected parts. So close, in fact, that I almost think of them as the same thing because they share the same goal. The first is to flesh out your idea, to make it real, to get it outside your head, as Padma spoke so beautifully about yesterday, and share it with others, getting that feedback, which enables you to get really a direct response and use that feedback to improve your ideas. So the prototype becomes a proxy, a stand-in, really a vehicle, if you will, my little car there, as a vehicle to externalize those ideas and make it concrete. And it can be sort of a rough pass at first, and perhaps over time changes and gets more refined. But testing your idea early on and throughout the process really gives you a chance to improve and adapt to feedback.